everybody. We're live. We're live on the Jack Henke Show. And you know what's
We're on
nice?
the library Facebook page. Woo!
Don't make a thing. Don't
Yes.
make a no. Don't make a thing. We're this is a library. We have to be very.
What does Ric Flair do? Woo!
The first time that Ric Flair has been mentioned with the Cedarburg Public Library today. Exactly. Welcome to the show, everybody. We do this all the time, and now we're doing it on the Cedarburg Library Facebook page. And much to the chagrin of the town fathers, the town mothers, the town proper, and the city too.
Right.
Oh my. Well, you know, one thing that go ahead. You were saying something.
I was just gonna say, like Miko, the Incredible Hulk, though.
We'll have to have him on the show so we can continue this show. That's the key to success.
He's
you dangle a little
show.
Dangle a little fame in front of them, and they snap it right out.
Ever since I tackled him in Costco that time, we happened to be in one checkout line apart. Like, hey, he
you
couldn't
tackled
leave.
the city planner.
He couldn't move. He was hemmed in.
That's how Jack makes all of his friendships. I couldn't go anywhere. Anyway, we have a theme. A beautiful theme. One of the best themes. The greatest theme of all the themes is the best theme. Other themes, not so good. Here we go.
Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack.
At the sound of the boing, it's Jack.
You've missed the boing. Admit it. There's a movie title.
You've missed the boing. That's like a 1960s movie with like the Dave Clark 5 or something.
Buddy Hackett.
Hey kids, you missed the boing.
Can't you see Buddy Hackett in that?
You know, it's very important to not ever miss the boing.
Wasn't he in like Herbie the Love Bug?
He wasn't Herbie. He was also in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World.
There you go. See, he's perfect.
Yeah, God, was he a blue? They call him blue. Was he a blue comic?
Oh yeah.
Boy, was he dirty.
Yes.
Oh my Lord.
Shockingly so. Like when somebody would come to school and say, "Did you guys see on cable like
HBO?"
HBO.
I saw the same one. I know the one you're talking about.
We're like, the Disney guy, he's a pussy. You know what I mean? He's like,
no. Oh my, yeah. I saw that way too young, and that was just last week.
Yeah, but he always looked like such a nice, sweet guy, you know? Yeah. It kind of like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
He played Lou Costello in the Bud and Lou story. Harvey Korman played Bud Abbott, made-for-TV movie about the story of the two comics and how much they despised each other.
Yeah, kind of a sad thing.
Like us.
Yeah, true.
Well,
except they were funny.
That's right. Oh, well, okay. Who's on first?
So AJ has been lighting the world on fire. He was on a Channel 4 episode with Tim Van Voren.
We're talking about AJ Bocchini, the sports reporter, the man on the sports beat for CPL broadcasting stuff, whatever this stuff is.
The head of AJ Sports Mafia scene.
Yes.
Weekly, bi-weekly. We just got done with an interview with Coach Chuck Ruffing from Bratton and Stratton. No,
you can do it.
Bryant and Stratton.
Bryant and Stratton. All right, there you go.
He just won a championship for junior college.
Aren't they kind of one of those colleges that you kind of like are on TV and tell you?
Yeah, it used to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, but now they're like accredited or something.
Yes,
remember, that's cool.
And there was also MBTI. Remember that one? Manpower Business Training Institute.
Oh yes.
Was on during Star Trek.
It was. That's why I know it.
Yesterday we had a Meet the Artist event for Patty Galoon Hansen's brainchild of Love Has Many Facets award.
Yeah.
The amazing Deb Mortal was on hand to lend
incredible.
her support. She's the arts teacher and leader. Is that? I'm not sure. I don't know what her title is, but she's like.
The art department is her. Yeah.
I announced her as the grand poobah of the art department yesterday, and she didn't hit me, so I think it was appropriate. But the winner was a really cool design, and the second place winner was a really cool design too. They have some talented kids at that school, for God's sakes.
Yeah, stop it.
Yeah, no, it's great because kids get exposed to the jewelry industry.
Yeah.
The winner was Kaden Hitchler.
Okay.
Her design was Sea Breeze. It captured the hearts with elegant flowing style. And then the second place was this Finola Lilligren, Whale of a Tail.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool. It had like a whale. It looked like, how you see those pictures of the whales, just their back flippers sticking out of the water. That's what it looked like.
Okay.
And then,
like an orca.
After you and your kids own heart, the poster winner for the design contest was Elise Lenhart. She was so great.
Cool.
Very, very cool all the way
Congrats
around.
to all these fine artists, and
thank you to the Big Bucks sponsorship of Port Washington State Bank.
Can't go wrong there.
No, they had very nice people. We had a great turnout yesterday. It was really a lot of fun.
Well, I benefited from this too.
You did, because Patty arranged to have 2 shakarooty boards, one with sausage and cheese and that kind of stuff.
Shakarooty. It sounds like a Tahitian king. King Shakarooty. He will bring you summer sausage and wedges of Swiss cheese.
And what you got yesterday was all forms of cookies and chocolate covered pretzels and everything.
Man, I was shaking.
That was Miss Molly's Catering, which was just fantastic.
But
but
very good.
Port Washington State Bank on hand with Heather Mantu of Cedarburg, which is very nice. Lady, and Stella, I lost her last name, but she was she's with HR and also a Cedarburg resident. And thank you also to Tammy for the pink. You ever been in the Pink Llama Gallery down there?
I have not.
It's right next to. It's like right connected with Heritage Lighting, right on the main drag. Yeah, very nice place, and they got some good art in there. I think you'd like it. Stella Peduzzi, that's who it was. And Tammy Stouse is the owner of the Pink Llama.
Oh,
so there.
Yeah. How do I know?
I think I got everybody in there. I feel like I'm doing an Oscar speech.
It's very good. Yes. The winner for best cookie goes to Miss Molly.
Yes. Ooh.
That's a hey.
You said it, not me.
Yeah, but you encouraged it.
This show has a long and loving relationship with Miss Molly. Remember when she brought us donuts at like some ungodly hour of the morning?
Yeah. Oh, it was
when we were doing the morning show.
When we were doing an ungodly show in the ungodly hour, yes.
Yes. We do a lot of ungodly things.
Yeah. She provided donuts for the 5K walk from the Cedarburg Junior Women's Club that I was involved in.
You were involved?
I walked it.
What? Who
I
got
did.
you to do that?
Well, so we have a member on staff here who unfortunately is suffering from a bit of breast cancer, and doing very well. But so we thought in support of her, we would, as a crew, walk the 5K. I don't remember what they called it. Breast, boob walk. I don't know.
Yeah,
something. So, and
if you were in it,
yes. So good turnout, about 300 people there, I think, and it started around in the sort of the Harrison area by Parkview, and I have not walked. I mean, I can get to my car.
You walked. Did you have someone pick you up? And
I told my coworkers, I said, "Who will be carrying me over the finish line?" I'm curious to know.
To the finish line.
Yes.
Did you walk the whole 5K?
I did.
And
the walk itself was great. A little sore at the end, and I thought, man, I could do this regularly. Got up Sunday morning, and
was this Saturday?
Yeah, it was Saturday. Yeah,
oh, nice.
Woke up Saturday morning making these noises. Yeah, my left knee inflated, looks a little grapefruity right now. So
completely unrelated, but you made me think of it with the sounds your body makes. I went to the Cedarburg Arts Mill had an open house on Friday night.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
cool.
And that's in Cedarburg. It's Grafton Arts Mill.
It's Grafton's, yeah.
A
lot of Cedarburg people there, though, I'm sure.
Cool building, and a lot of cool art in places. But they have beer and wine on the first floor.
They do,
which is nice.
Coffee shop as well. That AM Coffee, splinter of the roastery. Yeah.
Yep. And AM Coffee was closed at that time, but it was Friday night. But anyway, so I got a beer and I was going up the steps, I was thankful that the steps were creaking because my knees were also creaking, and the steps. I felt like Inspector
Stereo.
Inspector Clouseau, and he's going. When Kato's doing the saw beneath him, cutting out.
Kato, I have instructed you to attack me wherever and whenever possible.
And he hears that. He hears the saw going. He starts going.
Oh, man. You had to be there, kids. Return to the Pink Panther, 1975.
Any Pink Panther will do.
Except for the later ones, but after Peter Sellers.
No, yeah. Well, you got Peter Sellers. Shot in the Dark is a classic.
Oh, that's my favorite. Yeah, Shot in the Dark is huge. Elkie Summer. Whew.
Elkie Summer's guitar string bursting sounds like the bong in our theme.
It very much does, actually. It's like a G flat flat.
She goes, look at my goose pimple.
Wait. Of course, we're follow that as the sirens as they're being run in, because I think Clouseau is arrested like 8 times in that movie. Nudist colony. And on this show, I always feel like Chief Inspector Dreyfus. I got the eye going. I'm just like, yes, Jack, that's great. I gotta kill him.
I watched a clip of like 8 minutes of classic scenes, and one of them when the Chief Inspector, what was his name? The guy before?
Dreyfus.
Dreyfus.
Yes.
Was supposed to be getting out, and Clouseau went to talk to him, visit him.
Oh, he's getting out of the booby hatch. Yes. That's what he gets a suction cup. He's trying so hard to hold it together. He's trying so hard. And
Clouseau jumps up off the bench, and the bench goes down, and the guy goes, "Oh, Chief."
Yes, Dreyfus is like,
he goes,
it's okay, it's all right. He's trying so hard not to kill him. It shows the scene before that. He's with his psychiatrist, and they have a stuffed Clouseau in the corner that he would beat up every session. No, it's great stuff. It's a shame actually, because Peter Sellers hated doing those movies and was pretty much strung out for all of them. And it wasn't a pretty. Blake Edwards was interviewed later, and he's like, "Yeah, we captured comedy gold in spite of everything." So
yeah, Peter Sellers was a trip from what I understand.
He's a disaster. Yeah, he was a disaster. It happens to all big stars, right, Jack?
So many of us geniuses are.
Yes, absolutely. What else is going on for this here week? Last week of April.
It is. It's hard to believe. It's May coming up. It's hard to believe. Are you doing a Cedarburg Author Circle on Wednesday?
I sure am. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to a retirement party. Do you need anything?
I am. We're good. Your retirement?
No,
I didn't think so.
No.
Is that this week or next week? Author Circle. I think it's next week.
What is it? Is it the
second
Wednesday?
20. It's
Oh yeah. Because Wednesd's the 30th.
Wednesday's to the 30th. Yeah, so I was like, oh my god, I better get to work. I'm not ready.
Chief Inspector. You look like Dreyfus. Who's the guy who played Dreyfus?
That's a great British actor named Herbert Lom.
And what else was he in?
Not a lot. I mean, well, he did a lot of, oddly enough, a lot of horror movies in the 50s and 60s. Yeah, he was in like the remake of Phantom of the Opera, and then he did a lot of probably a lot of stage work, and then some very dramatic, kind of hard-hitting dramatic stuff. He's in that great Walter Matthau movie called Hopscotch.
That is a good one.
Yeah, he plays like his FBI boss or something. So he was a good actor, but definitely Chief Inspector Dreyfus was his crowning achievement.
Zenith.
Yes. Did you see the scene? It got me started. Damn you! Did you see the scene where he thinks that Clouseau is actually dead, and he's supposed to deliver? But then they ask him to deliver the eulogy,
yes.
And everyone thinks he's crying. Yeah. But he's actually trying not to die from laughing. Because he's like, what he was like, great man.
Doesn't he have a kerchief that he's?
Oh yeah, he was a modest man. Oh man. And then, of course, later on, they're doing a graveside service, and Clouseau's there he's dressed as a deacon or something, in disguise with a beard. He pulls the beard out and says, "Pick a beer." Dreyfus into the open wall. How does this relate to a library? Let me tell you, you can get all of these movies in your local public library. Just order them.
All there?
We do not here, but certainly in the system, you can grab the entire box set or something of the Pink Panther movies, and you should do that because they're great fun.
They are
very funny
and clean fun.
Mostly, except for when when Kato hears that Clouseau's dead, he turns his apartment into a Chinese horror. So there's that,
and that's the worst it gets.
Yeah,
that's nothing. That's on prime time now, for God's sake.
Clouseau was strangling it, saying, in the memory of my honor, you turned my home into a Chinese nookie factory.
Listen, boy, I touched the right nerve today.
Oh, I was raised on it. My dad, my brother, and I, we would just scream at those movies. My poor mother would be like, "Oh my God, stop! Turn it off." Boys
and girls, this is the most you'll ever see Bulldog laugh in a 15-minute thing, unless you go to a Monty Python film festival.
Don't, let's not do that. We've already we're in enough trouble.
Yeah.
Which actually, the Holy Grail is now playing, or like next week is going to play at the North Shore. They're doing an anniversary re-release of it, so you can see the Monty Python and the Holy Grail on the big screen.
I haven't seen either one in a while, but the one I would go with Life of Brian.
Oh, Life of Brian's their masterpiece. Yeah,
Holy Grail because it was the first one.
Holy Grail's better known.
Yeah.
It's like it had a big
and
like college camp. And the problem with Life of Brian is that most people when they watch it, they're like, "Oh, they can't. No, you can't say this." They're not. Wait a minute. What?
I saw a recent thing where they were interviewed. I don't even think the interview was new, but they were being interviewed, the guys from Monty Python, and they said how much all the protests of the church did for the attendance in the movies.
Oh, that's one of the best. Yeah, if I ever write a book, I hope I'm banned.
Yeah, right.
It spikes the sales like you wouldn't believe.
Yes.
So, but a topic that comes up around here, obviously, every now and then. But
yes,
not too much. Not too much. We're pretty lucky here in Cedarburg. We don't have a lot of book banning.
Good.
They sniff around a little, but they don't close in for the kill.
They sniff around a little.
They do.
Oh boy! All right,
so, yes.
This is coming up, an upcoming event with a participant in the show, a regular rotating guest star, Dr. Ben Quist.
Yes,
is going to be doing a talk on Thursday, May 8th.
Oh, is he?
At Foreman Fitness in Grafton, at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, May 8th. Decoding dietary inflammation. And it's all about food and diet and how it affects you more than you realize. And
sure.
Dr. Ben is passionate about that. We talked a little about that on Friday. We have a new episode to share. That
you hope so. We're working on, but we're frantically working on right now.
Yeah, but he's got that coming up, which is very cool. And look for AJ; he's everywhere now, which is just great. He's on YouTube. He's going to be the best man for Cindy and the Cardinals fan.
Perfect.
So last year he was the what do you call a religious thing for the kid getting baptized?
You would be struggling with this.
Godfather of all things.
Now that's perfect. I mean,
yes. He is of the sports mafia. So he's
while they're having the service, they might be out there eradicating AJ's enemies. Like Michael.
Right.
So stay on his good side this week, everybody. All right.
Does AJ have any enemies?
I would be very surprised. That doesn't even seem possible.
And let's talk about, now that I got you on the spot, about Dr. Ben. I'll just keep putting coal oil on the fire. Cedarburg Author Circle. We got that. Are you calling it a book? What is it?
It is an anthology. It's a publication. It is the collective works of the collective. That I won't be using that as a tagline, by the way. But basically the last year of work from our local writers group, the Cedarburg Author Circle. We've been at it for about a year and a half and been working on this particular publication for a little under a year. And Lord willing, it'll be ready for purchase and perusal in the middle of May 15th. As long as I can get those I's dotted and those T's crossed.
Are there any more meetings this year? Or is it through the summer, for the...
I go through the summer. I always expect lesser attendance because, people might be like cutting their grass or something critical, So,
you do that.
I do. I do. Poorly. But
Docker.
Yes.
I got a new recruit, a local author who's written children's books. I don't know if you've Sherry Mabry. Have you ever heard of her?
I have not, but I'm writing one of those now, so I want her in the group as quickly as possible.
She wrote the book. Remember when Family Sharing had the?
Oh yes,
she was the author for that.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she is welcome. Everyone in the sound of my voice is welcome at the Cedarburg Author Circle. You don't even have to be writing if you're just interested in hanging out with writers. I don't know what's wrong with you and why you would want that, but if you want to.
It was interesting because she asked me, like, who's all in there? And I said, well, we have a poet, I mean, different.
Oh, I thought you
know
know
what
like names. Like, all right, who's there?
No. And I told her, look, Carla Luna, who is just a machine.
She is indeed.
And she has like her own self-publishing empire, doesn't she? I mean, she does her own kind of thing.
She does everything, and that's kind of, to be frank, I am patterning the publication of this anthology after what she's done. I want to chase after. It's a successful formula she has. So when she was in a few weeks ago, and I was just like, tell me everything you do, because then I'm going to do it. Because I don't want to reinvent any wheels here. I just want this thing to see the light of day in the most readable form. So she educated me on all kinds of good self-publishing type stuff, and we're ready to go. And she's amazing, like you said, total dynamo.
Yep.
All of her books are available for checkout here too at the library, so come check it out or buy them. That's even better. Authors like that.
All right, so John's a poet, Carla's a novelist. Like Barry essays. I mean, short stories.
Barry's doing it, but he's got a novel. He's got a novel in his craw, and I mean, I think it's close to done.
Cool.
And then he's done some short stories as well. And haven't seen Louise in a while. I don't know if
no,
she's
she said
out.
I contacted her with a question about publishing something.
Okay.
She said, "Sorry, I don't want to get disbarred, but I haven't been able to come."
Disbarred. Okay.
Who's the dude who looks like?
Careful now. We're on the air.
I know. No, this is good. He's a good actor. He was in Bandits, and he was.
Bruce Willis.
He's in Landman. Have you seen the new show Landman? I think he was in might have been Fargo too.
Billy Bob Thornton?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Do we have a Billy Bob in our our group?
Yes. So this guy who did the 10 story, under the Big Ten, kind of the.
Oh yes, the great Chris. Yeah, Chris is a friend. He's also on the Friends group. Yeah.
Is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got interesting stories.
No, he's great. He's
short
really
story, kind of.
He's kind of doing, he's doing personal memoir type of
memoir.
Thing, more if anything. Yeah. And it's really interesting about this roving, traveling band of actors in the 70s who would go to small towns that, maybe didn't have a big cultural epicenter, and they would bring they would pitch the tent and put on, I don't know, Hamlet. They'd hop in the tights and do what you gotta do.
Yeah, so, it was interesting as hell.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah. And what is the cotton candy lady, Rachel?
Rachel. Rachel's great. Yeah.
She got a lot of energy. And what is she?
Yeah,
how would you classify?
She's done some. For the book, she has a short story, sort of interesting little personal essay on opening her own small business. That being cotton candy, which is really interesting. And she's one other piece in there too, I think. Yeah, two short stories. And so Rachel's great. She's wonderful to have on staff, I guess. And that's what's really funny as we got closer, like the last meeting especially, it really felt it was cool because it's really collaborative and people had good things, really good advice and things to say, and it felt like it really felt like a like the main office of the New York Post or something, or the Washington Post. I mean, there's a bunch of writers coming together trying to bring this publication into fruition, and I don't think you get a lot of that anymore. And a lot of times creativity is very insular and you're alone in a room and you do, and this is a different way of going about it. So I really highly recommend it. I mean, if you want to write and you're somewhat fearful, because that actually goes with it goes to the territory as, terror, but we're a really, I don't know, cheery group, and we support each other, and we will find, if you want to be published, next year's edition will be ready in May of 26.
So which is here before you know it.
It does indeed.
So it's the journal. It's not a journal. It's a book, right? Anthology.
Straight up book.
And how's it going to be available to people?
The idea right now, ebook obviously is the easiest way because you're just uploading a file to Amazon and call it a day. And
for sale?
For sale. I mean, the ebook will be pretty cheap, but at the same time, all the proceeds from the sales, by the way, go to Jack Henke, the genius, the luminant. No, it goes to the Cedarburg Friends of the Library, which make a lot of this not a lot, everything possible.
Yeah.
And they're an awesome group. And so if we sell a few copies, then all the coin will go to them, and that's great. But
so it's not going to be available to rent from the library.
I'm going to get a few hard copies for checkout as well.
Excellent.
Definitely for circulation, and then I have a couple for sale around town. We're looking at that. Maybe put a copy in the Chamber of Commerce office or something in the Washington House. I think that's a good idea to kind of show that Cedarburg solidarity and all that. So
a Bible and a author circle in every room.
Yes, absolutely. Our book is better.
Much better.
Not as much bloodshed, but it's pretty good.
It's more fun.
It's more fun, yes. So there we go. So that's the story of the Cedarburg Author Circle. That's the name of the publication, Cedarburg Author Circle, Volume 1. Meaning that there'll be a Volume 2 through.
Oh, we should just say Part 1, like History of the World Part 1.
Oh boy. No, yes. Anyway,
I gotta go. I gotta take Blackie to the vet.
Oh no, is he doing okay?
Yeah, just kind of.
Blackie. I hope you get a foot at the vet. I hope they give you a lollipop. A meat lollipop.
No, I just check up stuff. And he's 11 now.
That's huge. That's amazing. Wow. Nice job, Blackie.
I'm the one who kept him alive, for God's sakes.
Hey, he's got to do the work of existing.
True.
And living with you.
That adds.
It adds something called surus, Yiddish for many headaches. Anyway, enjoy, everybody. Dr. Ben will not be following this broadcast. Wait, no, maybe it will. Hang on. Stick around. Let's see if I actually get in there. Are you late?
No, I can wait a minute.
Let me see here. All right, let me see if it works.
It was Friday.
I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. So whenever you're ready, we'll turn it over to Jack and Dr. Ben. Blackie's off to the vet. I'm off to put stickers on books. So I don't know who's got it worse. Talk to you soon, everybody. Yeah, Blackie. Bye-bye, all. Bye. There we go. Let's see if it works.
We are here now with the big Q. Q covers health from A to Z, from the inside out, from your gut to your extremities. He is Dr. Ben Quist.
Oh man! Wow, that's quite an intro, Jack. I really appreciate that.
You deserve it. I got to torture you for those years of track attack that you tortured me. Now I'm getting your ears back.
Right. No, I enjoy your intros. It's really one of the reasons I come on the show.
How are you, Ben?
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
Good. Everything. What's new in your world?
Well, I am doing a talk. I'm the final speaker in our speaker series that we do every kind of like winter or spring. And my talk is not this upcoming Thursday, but the following Thursday at Forum Fitness Health Club. It's free to non-members, members. But I'm excited about what I'm speaking about. It's at 6:30 p.m., by the way. So if anybody wants to come to my talk, you just have to call us here at Forum Fitness to sign up.
I already RSVP'd for it, Ben.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
I got my chair reserved. And it's funny when you say you're excited about it. That's hard for me to imagine. You getting psyched up for a health talk. What are you covering specifically? Now you don't have to go into the talk, but kind of give us an outline.
I really, whenever I talk about stuff, like I'm very mistrustful of experts or research studies, or when you've been looking at this stuff for decades, you start to maybe lose faith a little bit in certain things, and then you never know when you go online or when somebody is telling you something, especially in the health and wellness field. Is it really just a commercial for a product that they're selling? Is it really, So one of the things that I've been very interested in is inflammation. So the kind of whole body inflammation that really lately has been linked to pretty much every major disease process. So cancer, heart disease, diabetes, inflammation rears its ugly head, this kind of like low-level burning inflammation that can be kind of throughout the body, and it's really, really a bad thing. So, and there is even a group, of individuals that believe that is one of the hallmarks of aging, that as we age, your level of inflammation typically goes up higher and higher and higher. So does the inflammation cause the aging, or is the aging causing the inflammation? It's like the chicken and the egg thing. So I find it very, very interesting. But is there ways to combat that? And in looking at that, there is this, like, I'm sure you've heard of that, like, well, eat an anti-inflammatory diet. Have you ever heard anyone say that?
Yep.
So you get the book on the anti-inflammatory diet, like, well, how did you determine that was anti-inflammatory? How do you know? Like, why are you saying that? And then, so they have something called the anti-inflammatory index of food, and they talk about it a lot. Well, here's the list of foods. These are the most inflammatory. Saturated fat is really bad. Animal protein's really bad. Like, trans fats are really bad. But, arugula is really good. Like, this list of, like, the foods. It's like, okay, well, is that BS or is that based on anything? So my talk is about all of those types of things. Like, because you could go the exact opposite route, and there will be people that will tell you eating all the things that the inflammatory index says is really bad is really good for you. So it's like, who's right?
Right. And who can you trust and why?
Yeah, exactly. You really have to be a little bit careful with it. But, just like all decisions in life, whenever you look at these kinds of big questions like this, you look at all the information available. Then you look to, like, experts or people that have or individuals that have successfully done the thing that you want to do. You interview them, you talk to them, you look at that, and you just go, like, does it even make sense? Is it common sense that would work? I think I've come up with my own opinion on the inflammation topic. So that is going to be what my presentation is going to be about.
Shocking! You're going to be opinionated.
Yeah. Well, in the end, Jack, that's all there really is. If anybody thinks that someone's got all this diet stuff figured out, they don't. They don't. They don't have it all figured out. Basically, you're getting different individuals' opinions, and I always think it's best to get somebody's opinion that's not trying to sell you something. So I will not be selling anything at my presentation. No one needs to buy anything. I won't have any supplements. I won't have my little leafy green berry powder that I created to sell you, or, like, my special type of MCT oil or whatever. We're not selling anything. We're just going to talk about what's going on.
Well, to that point, Ben, I got an email from CVS today. And I'm on their list. I have their card, or whatever you call it, their savings card. And they have here, it's $4. We're here to help support your gut wellness. CVS has a variety of products that can help provide relief for support of acute digestive issues and dietary supplements that may help promote gut health. That says Shop Digestive Health. You get a $4 coupon of $25. And they have a photo with CVS Maximum Strength Probiotic Dietary Supplement, CVS Health Omeprazole, OMEPRAZOLE, and then stomach relief. Like, just like you said, it's hard. You get this and you go, well, that sounds good. But how do you know that because they're pretty unabashedly selling you something, right?
Yeah. They're, I mean, and it is not that automatically, like, someone called me out about that. Like, I really, really like the prolonged fasting system, and I sell it at the club. I make like $10 per box I sell. So it's like, I make virtually nothing off of it. Yeah. But, I truly believe that it works. And just because I'm selling it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, just because CVS is selling those supplements doesn't automatically mean that it doesn't work. But your antenna should go up a little bit when the person is trying to sell you something, because then they might not have your best interests in mind. So
exactly. And the other thing is, as you talk about your it's decoding inflammation or anti-inflammation, right? What if someone says, how do I even know if I have inflammation? I don't have swelling in my arm or my stomach. How can you, what are the clues that someone is having an inflammation issue?
So there are blood tests that they run on that. Now that the medical community has really gotten onto this now, where it's like, when you look at like let's take heart disease, because it's my favorite disease process. It's the one I'm probably going to die of. So, like, we look at heart disease, and everybody was focused on cholesterol. Cholesterol markers don't really track with risk of heart attack. Like, if you look at total cholesterol, which is what everybody's worried about. Oh my God, my cholesterol went up 3 points. It's like, that doesn't really, but what does track with a heart attack or a stroke is your inflammation level. It does track really closely with that, because inflammation really indicates there's a problem. Inflammation occurs when there is something wrong, right? That it's a defense mechanism that your body has. there are some very, very easy to get blood tests that that you get. One typically everybody gets in their annual panel. It's called C-reactive protein or high sensitivity C-reactive protein. And there's some other more like intensive ones that you can do as well, but that's a real easy one that isn't expensive. It typically is on an annual panel, and normally, they will tell you if it's high. But like I think most of the people who look at this kind of stuff say it should be under 1. So it should be really low. Like versus like it might not trigger your doctor saying something till it's a little bit higher than that. So but anyways, yes, there are some blood tests you can do. That will let you know.
So it's not something you can self-diagnose. You can't say, I don't feel any inflammation. It's not like a swollen ankle or a joint or anything like that.
This full body inflammation that I'm talking about, this kind of metabolic systemic inflammation, you can't really diagnose yourself with that. Because if you have an inflamed elbow or something that swells up, like that's or you have an infection, you cut yourself and it gets inflamed, like you totally can see that. But this is something internal that you can't really see. There are some other indications that maybe you are having a problem, like if all your joints are achy, if there's other things that can kind of give you some indications that there is possibly an issue. But like the best way to do it is just to get it measured. And then also it's really cool because if you're going to do something to try to fix that, which I have a whole list of different things that you can do in my presentation. It's my final point in the presentation of the things that I'm doing for myself. You then can measure it, then try the stuff, and then remeasure it, and then for sure I'm not full of SHIT, right? Because you did it, either it didn't work or it did work, right? So then you know it for yourself. And really with all of these different things, like the gut health supplement you were just mentioning, like how do you even know if it's working? Are you gonna weigh your bowel movements? Like I don't know, or is it how your stomach feels, or how do you measure these things? So
exactly.
But inflammation's a really easy one. You can measure it. It is very easy to measure.
Is there an age, given that what you had just said, get it measured, get it tested, get your annual panel? Is there an age when the average person should start going for annual tests, or is annual enough, or is it 6 months?
I think annual is fine. I don't know when they start including that. I haven't done enough physicals myself to know, but I personally, this is my own personal opinion, you should start looking at that in your 40s, early 40s. Okay. Because as soon as the chronic disease processes start to sneak in there, which is usually in your 40s, like there are people that die of heart attacks and strokes in their 40s, all the time. People get cancer in their 40s all the time. Or even in your 30s, once you're an adult, you should probably start to peek at that.
Okay, that's helpful. And there's just so much you don't know, and then there's so much information. It's like you go from not knowing anything to this information overload. That it's really, really difficult to keep it sorted straight unless you have a source you can trust. So.
Yeah, it is. It was interesting. I was Josh Limberman, who is a cardiologist that we've had speak at our speaker series several years in a row now. He's got a really bright mind, and he wrote a blog that came out in his little newsletter about 2 weeks ago. It was phenomenal. It was really interesting because it gets to how confusing the question can get. But there was a study that came out that basically stated that ketogenic diets, meaning ketogenic diets are basically super high fat diets, right? Tons of fat, but don't eat a carbohydrate. It's like the scariest thing ever. So they eat these diets that are super high fat. And then they were trying to prove that it didn't affect heart disease at all. So they measured this population that they had selected, and they measured them again a year later, and they were all eating a ketogenic diet. And the headlines from the study were that the ketogenic diet has been proven not to accelerate or cause heart disease. And it was really interesting. If you read that as a layperson, you might be like, oh my gosh, so that they were right. Like it is, just remove all the carbohydrates and you're going to be totally protected. And Josh, I have to say, knows how to read medical research better than me. That's actually the next course I'm going to take, because I downloaded that study and it's huge. I was trying to figure it out. And I believe that the authors of the study made it confusing on purpose after reading when Josh dissected it, they actually proved the exact opposite. Every single person in the study, their heart disease got much worse. They all had heart disease. So it was weird. Like this group of 50-year-old men, not everybody in their 50s should have heart disease. Like half the population usually doesn't, but all of the ketogenic people almost had it. And they like buried that in like this like little appendices, and they used like a different method of tracking whether the person accelerated their heart disease or not that they invented just for this study. But if you just looked at, the soft plaque, they significantly increased their heart disease over the course of the study. And, it kind of proved the exact opposite of what the headline said. But me looking at it as someone who doesn't read a full study, cover to cover and really dive into it too often, I would have had no way to determine that, so then, so you do have to trust a cardiologist who reads a study on heart disease is probably a better person at defining how that study's going than you or I, right?
Right. And so much of the terminology, another article related but unrelated was why most diets don't work. It was an article I saw this week. And whenever I see something like that, and it went back to like one of the first diet crazes that ever hit the US was like 100 years ago. They had this grapefruit diet craze.
Oh, really?
That's how, and they said you should have grapefruit at every meal. And the only thing that changed was the amount of grapefruit being sold because it skyrocketed.
I believe it. Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's hard to, 100 years ago, you think they didn't even know what diet was back then. But there's something about the word diet that it just conjures up no fun, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And hard and almost certain failure whenever someone's on a diet, because people the people who say I'm on a diet don't go on a diet for the rest of their life. At least the ones I've seen, they're going on vacation or they're getting ready for summer, so they're going on a diet. And then when it stops, the research shows not only do they gain all the weight back, they even gain more back in a lot of things,
they gain more back.
That's just dirt. That's just dirty for that to happen. So what do you say about the word diet? Is it something we should strike from our language?
100%. And anybody who's listened to some of my dietary talks, like the one I did last year, in my mind, people just need to focus on getting high quality food, mostly from plants, and that is where we should be focusing. So you just need to change. You just need to eat real food. Like you just need to change what you're eating a bit, and it's not a diet. It's not something that's short term. You just have to change it forever. And unfortunately in our society currently, it is extremely challenging because 90% of the stuff in the grocery store isn't really food anymore. In my mind, it's become Frankenstein food. Some mad scientist has put dye number 3 and preservative number 56.5 and dough conditioner number whatever, and they put all this crap in the food, and it's like it's not even really food anymore. And then they took out all the good stuff. Like we have processed this food to the point where we've removed every phytonutrient, every bit of fiber, everything we can take out that would possibly benefit the human body, we have removed, and 90% of the stuff in the, if you took all of the food in the supermarket and you simply removed every one of the food items that had added sugar, meaning that they've added added sugar, refined sugar into you'd be removing like 80% of the food out of the entire grocery store. It's just, it is. And that's really the problem. That is the problem that we're having now. That's why we are sick as a population. We are disease ridden. We are obese. We are having so many problems with this. And, unfortunately, no one is pushing the needle hard enough, and then we have all the experts confusing everybody, you got Dr. Gundry with his plant paradox BS crap, where don't eat this type of plant, but this type of plant. I've made up this thing called lectin. Like there's just so many people out there confusing people, and it's really not that complicated. The only complicated part is where to find the uncomplicated foods, the foods we historically have eaten through our ancestry back to the beginning, so which were mostly unprocessed plant food and some meat from time to time. Yeah. You can put meat in the same category. It is incredibly challenging to find meat that isn't, adulterated with, a gazillion.
Manipulated.
They inject chicken with sodium to beef up the weight of the chicken. And that's why chicken has, one of the most inflammatory substances there is sodium, so, and everybody in America we're intaking like 5,000 milligrams of sodium a day because every single food has a salt added to it too. Salt and sugar and then saturated fat. Let's just add that to every single thing we have. Take everything good in the food away, and then let's feed it to everybody, and let's see what happens.
Ben, how do I know what food to eat? I mean, it's simple, but it's not simple, because here's what's not simple from what you just said. Mm-hmm. Chicken. You think chicken is a white meat, lower fat than
yep.
other choices. So I'm eating chicken thinking it's a good choice, but you're saying it's not a good choice because it's been manipulated. It's
manipulated. Yeah. I mean, sometimes antibiotics have been put in there. You talked about gut health.
Yeah.
You know what's really not healthy for your gut is like shooting down a bunch of meat that's been, antibiotic to death. It's like, that's not good for your microbiome either.
Yeah.
So there's a couple different ways you can do it. Lots of times with individuals that I work with, I'll simply teach them how to identify whether there's been an added sugar added to the food that they're going to eat. And I will attempt to have them not eat any added sugar for a month. And if you get rid of added sugar, you get rid of 90% of the bad foods. So that's like, it's a proxy marker for the food being super refined. You could do the same thing with added sodium. Not that all sodium is bad, you just don't want a ton of it. So like added sugar is one of them. There's also an app called Yucca, which my entire family uses, all my clients use. You could Yucca everyone. Yucca does a fantastic job of not only pointing out if the food is high in added sugar, it also points out all the chemicals that are added, which is why I still use it, because they add thousands of different bizarre things to our food. And Yucca is at least one application that is attempting to like help us move the needle and be like, hey, I'm not going to get this cracker anymore, or this bread product, because they have 15 chemicals in here and 3 of them are carcinogens,
Yeah. Yucca, it's funny you bring that up. I don't know I have to figure this out, how I can share a screen, but I followed a thing. I get an email from Yucca. I'm sure you do too. And do you see the one where they have this thing where people can top brands and products called out? So people come back to Yucca and say, these are the ones the people are doing the call outs. And here are the top 10 brands you've called out the most. And they have them by brand. And then they have them by 10 items. So
are these the ones that people scan the most? Or
scan the most and say that it's 5 call out brands using high risk additives since we launched our call out feature in November.
Oh, wow. So you can call them out and say, hey, be wary of this product.
Exactly.
Oh, that's interesting.
So which brands have been flagged the most? Here's a look at the results of your engagement. Here are the top 10 brands. Walmart's Great Value brand. Trader Joe's.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yes. Pepperidge Farm. Gatorade. Annie's, another one who is they come off as a natural type of brand. I've seen a lot of their products.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Coca-Cola, no surprise, right?
Yep.
Kirkland, a Costco brand. Kroger.
Yep.
One of your favorite categories, Cheerios, cereal.
Cereal, yes.
And Kraft.
And
then they have the top 10 products. They narrow it down a little more. And some of them are like, duh, and some of them are interesting. Number 1, Coca-Cola, regular Coca-Cola. Fairlife, chocolate milk. Mac and cheese from Kraft. Honey Nut Cheerios. Kodiak, the
pancake company.
Yeah. Their flapjack mix.
Really? Oh man. Huh.
Yeah. Honey Made graham crackers. Goldfish cheddar crackers, the goldfish crackers.
Yeah.
It's a corn muffin mix from Jiffy. Peanut butter from Jif, and Oreo cookies are the top 10.
I truly believe Yucca does a really good job, because as somebody that is probably overly into this stuff, like I probably am obsessive about it a little bit.
No.
I still find ones. Like I used to eat a lot of Sammy's bread products. Have you ever seen Sammy's Bread Company? They do like some triangular, really good flax chips that are really high in fiber, no added sugar. And that was a product, they slipped it by me. Like if I look at the label, I don't see anything bad from a macronutrient standpoint. But when you look at what chemicals they put in there, they're like a red item on Yucca, because they have hormone disruptors, all kinds of crap that they put in there. With sometimes the preservatives that they use in different things are just not good for you. And I'm not a chemist. Like I can't. You and I are not going to memorize a list of 1,000 different food additives that you shouldn't be eating.
Right.
That's really what the government should be doing. Like they should be being like, okay, like we shouldn't have this in food because it's been proven to do X, Y, Z, or it's questionable. You know, do you know who makes the determination as to whether a food additive is safe or not?
No.
The food company. So like that's like having the fox be in charge of the chickens, right? I mean, it's like it's the dumbest thing ever, and that's why we've ended up in this horrible situation that we're in right now with our food. So, but Yucca is really good with that. Like, when you ask you could just Yucca everything. Yucca will tell you if there's added sugar, if there's too much fat, if there's too much sodium, if the chemicals are not right. I found a pizza that actually came out green on Yucca.
What?
Yep. There was a pizza. It was from Europe, but
of course,
of course, those Europeans.
Damn Europeans.
Gosh. Yeah.
Yucca is YUKA for people in the it's a little carrot is there, as you can tell. All right.
One version's free, and then there's another version you pay a teeny bit and you can scan the item, I think. So it's not expensive.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have like 2 more minutes? I want to ask you about if you've seen Arnold's. Did you see Arnold's newsletter today?
I didn't.
Chance?
No.
You will. Numbers you won't forget. This is like the number one lead thing. 17%. Instead of debating whether cardio or weights are better, it might be time to spend more time doing both types of activities. A global analysis of more than 3.3 million people from 32 countries, so not just from the fat U.S., found that only 17% of adults meet both aerobic and muscle strengthening minimum recommendations. The review looked to adhere to major goals: 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity per week, and at least two sessions of muscle strengthening. Across the globe, about 70 people hit the aerobic mark, and only 20% met the resistance training guideline. Would
you say the first one? 70%? You said
70% people hit aerobic, so they're good on that.
Across the globe. 70% did? That sounds high to me.
Of 3.3 million people from 32 countries. That's what it was. It was today's thing, so you'll see it.
I'll have a look at that. Yeah.
And then just 17% met both, and then and why? You always get, here's why it matters. People who meet both guidelines consistently show lower rates of cardiovascular disease, metabolic dysfunction, mental health care issues, and even some cancers. So, I mean, more fuel to your resistance training fire, because that's where people are really lacking much more than the aerobic.
Yeah, they're both really important. And I would actually argue that resistance training is the easier one of the two to implement, because you don't have to do it that much. Like, really, you should do cardio every day. Like, you should be walking every day. You should get 10,000 steps every day. Like you need to be doing those kinds of things. But the strength training you can do for 20 minutes twice a week and get fantastic results. The only hard part with the strength training is, like, you do have to kind of know what you're doing so you don't hurt yourself.
Right.
If you want to do it appropriately, you need to do a heavy enough load, pick an exercise that's appropriate for your gender, age, injury profile, all those kinds of things. And that's where strength training is slightly confusing. You do need to know some stuff with that.
You need to know some stuff, or know the people who know some stuff.
Like, we can help you guys with that. Yes, if you guys need help, we're happy to help.
Like you said today to me earlier, you saw me working out in Michael's class, which was a tough class. But here's the key to a class like that, from my unprofessional perspective, just the suffering workout person, is not only do they have you do things that you wouldn't know how to do yourself, but the key is they watch you while you're doing it. And while you're doing it, you're getting tired. So your form, you don't even realize. You think, your first set, your back might be ramrod straight. But then by the third set, you're starting to, and then Michael's right there saying, nicely, not be an idiot, straighten up so that, if you want to get the benefit, this is how you have to do it. And you don't want to hurt yourself, like you said. So that is so key. getting, no matter what in life, you can go it alone, you can find a lot of information, but if you don't, people who are ultimately like track athletes who are in the Olympics, they have coaches.
Yeah, they do. Yep.
If they have coaches, everybody in the world can use a coach in any kind of activity.
It's true. Yeah, it really is true. A mentor, a coach. It really that's why personal training exists, and also like in a health club, it's just nice to be around other like-minded people and do stuff together in a group. Is always a lot of fun. So
yeah, definitely. Okay, cool.
Just bring it back, tie it into what we started with. One of the best things to reduce full body inflammation, Jack. What is it?
Resistance training.
Exercise. Yeah, exercise is one of the huge ones. Yeah, so like that is, there are study after study after study after study after study shows that is one of the best things for kind of just taking that inflammatory level down.
I just get such a high from it, a legal high.
Yeah,
you just feel so good knowing you've done it.
Yep. So, that's probably one of the best reasons to move every day is because it does energizes you. It makes your mood better. You think better afterwards. Like there are just so many benefits to it. It doesn't have to be the brutal exercise. It can be just going outside for a walk. It doesn't need to be. That's what I tell my mom all the time. Like she's been doing the strength training because I force her to go and get personal training. But
good,
like mom, like you need to walk 7 times a week. You're 80 years old now. You need to get out there. I need to see you walking. So it's important stuff, but it doesn't need, she doesn't need to be jogging. She doesn't need to be, doing burpees, but she needs to be walking,
Right.
So,
right. Yeah. And that is why the letter Q is the best letter in the alphabet, because Ben Quist is right here with all your quelp that you need for life. So how do you like that?
I like that. Wow. That's pretty good.
Cool. You got any activities planned for the weekend? Nope. Kids aren't in sports or anything this weekend?
Yeah, a lot of sports stuff. I'm single parenting this weekend, and I'm working on my inflammation presentation. So I have a lot of sound effects I'm putting into it and certain animations.
Whoopee cushions?
Yeah, well, no, that's probably not going to be in there. But you'll just have to be surprised if you're going to a Jack. You can see some of my animations that I'm putting in there.
I can't wait. I'll grade it.
Yeah, please do.
Fantastic. Well, thanks a lot, Ben. As usual, you brung it. You done it. So
good.
Great job. And I'm looking forward to
Thanks,
that one. It's cool. So again, if you're interested, it is Decoding Dietary Inflammation, Thursday, May 8th, 6:30 p.m. by this gentleman right here, Dr. Ben Quist, Form and Fitness Health Club in Grafton. And if you want to reserve your seat, to make sure you have a seat, no cost, whether you're a member or not, just call the club, or I think you can email the club too, right?
You can either call or email, and you definitely do need to reserve a seat. There's over 50 people signed up already, so it's we're gonna have to bring in extra chairs. It might be standing room only.
Excellente.
Yep.
SRO for Ben. Way to go, Ben.
Yes.
Outstanding. Yes. Fantastic. Cool. All right. Well, thanks very much, Ben. Good to hook up with you again, and keep bringing it, man.
All right, thanks, Jack.
All right, have a great weekend.
You too.
We are leaving.